As a young boy, Prophet Yusuf saw a prophetic dream. 11 stars, the sun, and the moon all bowing down to him. It was a cosmic alignment, marking him for a singular destiny. But human jealousy moves quickly. His 10 older brothers, consumed by envy over their father's deep love for Yusuf, orchestrated a deceptive trip. They stripped him of his identity and cast him down into the freezing darkness of a desolate desert well. How does a child marked by a divine prophecy of greatness survive being violently reduced to an abandoned, forgotten victim in a single afternoon? This diagram charts the central structural concept of Yusuf's life, the V-curve. His literal, physical descent mirrors the beginning of a profound spiritual test. Surviving the pit required a complete psychological breaking down. The boy had to lose his safety and his family so he could be entirely rebuilt for the trials ahead. Rescued by a passing caravan, Yusuf was dragged to Egypt and sold for a few dirhams to a high-ranking minister known as the Aziz. The Aziz was a prestigious title given to powerful political officials in ancient Egypt. Within the palace, Yusuf's wisdom and physical beauty caused him to rise quickly in rank. The palace offered physical safety, but it introduced a more insidious hazard. The minister's wife attempted to seduce him, locking the heavy palace doors and demanding he commit a grave sin. He stood at a stark crossroads. He could surrender his soul for the immediate temptation of power and beauty, or he could refuse and face the total destruction of his new life. This diagram updates to show his response. He exercised Sabr. Sabr is an Arabic concept often translated as patience, but it refers to the active, agonizing choice to maintain moral integrity when tested under immense pressure. He chose the literal, physical darkness of a prison cell over the spiritual corruption of the palace. He proved that true freedom requires keeping your moral integrity intact, regardless of the physical cost. Thrown into an Egyptian dungeon, Yusuf spent years completely forgotten by the outside world for a crime he never committed. Despite hitting the lowest point of his life, he maintained his sabr. He used the extreme isolation to preach the truth to his fellow inmates and accurately decode their dreams. The catalyst for his release came from the very top of the empire. The king of Egypt was haunted by an unsolvable dream: 7 fat cows being devoured by 7 lean ones, and 7 green ears of corn besides 7 dry ones. No royal advisor could crack it. This chart shows the exact breakdown of Yusuf's interpretation. He forecasted 7 years of massive agricultural abundance, followed immediately by 7 years of deadly famine. To survive the collapse, he proposed a rigorous, nationwide storage plan. The specific skills and spiritual fortitude Yusuf honed in the darkness of the dungeon became the exact tools required to save an entire empire. This diagram illustrates the final trajectory. Yusuf moved directly from a forgotten prisoner to the treasurer of Egypt. The predicted famine struck the region. Canaan, encompassing the modern-day Levant, dried up entirely, forcing populations to seek aid directly from Egypt's granaries. The starvation drove his 10 treacherous brothers across the desert to beg for food. They stood before him, completely broken, entirely oblivious that the powerful ruler controlling their fate was the little boy they once threw in a well. Yusuf now held the authority to execute the men who destroyed his childhood and caused decades of grief. He chose total mercy. Looking at the men who abandoned him, he issued a historic declaration: "No reproach upon you this day." Yusuf's path suggests that the most extreme trials, when navigated with unshakable sabr, lead to a level of elevation unreachable by any other means. In the end, his real strength was found in his decision to forgive the very men who threw him into the pit.